Human creativity, it's given us some of the greatest breakthroughs in history. But that's not what we're talking about today. Nope. We're going to the other side of the coin. We're diving into the brilliant, the bizarre, and the just plain spectacularly misguided inventions that just make you scratch your head and go, what were they thinking? I mean, you've totally had this moment, right? You see some gadget and your brain just kind of short circuits. It's so weird, so illogical, you just can't process it. It's this perfect blend of wow and what? That's the exact feeling we're chasing down today. And listen, we're not talking about small oopsies here. These are ideas so far out in left field, they make your weird uncle's garage projects look like absolute strokes of genius. Seriously, these are the kind of inventions that completely redefine what it means to solve a problem. And usually they end up creating a bunch of brand new ones. Okay, so first up, let's talk about something that feels so now. The constant battle for focus, right? In a world of dings and notifications, just being able to concentrate feels like a superpower. But here's the thing. Way before smartphones, one inventor took this quest for quiet to a whole new, almost comical extreme.
It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you just shut out the world and get stuff done? Well, let's rewind to 1925. A guy named Hugo Gernsback was absolutely convinced he had cracked the code. He thought he had the ultimate solution.
And here it is, the Isolator. I mean, just look at this thing. It's a heavy-duty, soundproof helmet, right? The whole point was to block out every single distraction. But did you notice that little detail? Yeah, that's its own dedicated oxygen tank. Because apparently the price you had to pay for absolute silence was, maybe suffocating. Now that is a breathtaking commitment to productivity. Literally. All right, so we've gone from the struggle for personal focus to a huge public health issue. Think about it. Early 20th century, cities are booming, apartments are cramped, and parents were getting pretty desperate to solve a really serious problem for their kids. And look, it was a totally fair question for any parent back then. Doctors were all saying fresh air and sunlight are crucial. But what do you do when you live 10 stories up in a packed apartment building? The solution they came up with was, well, let's just say it took thinking outside the box to a genuinely terrifying new level. Baby cages. Yeah, you heard that right. The idea was simple and absolutely horrifying. You just hang your kid out the window in a wire box so they can get some sun. I mean, sure, it technically solves the fresh air problem, right? But it also introduces the brand new, very real problem of, a baby dangling in a cage over a city street. I think it's safe to say this one would not pass today's safety inspections. Okay, so far the inventors have been a little obscure. But what happens when a certified, world-famous genius has a spectacularly bad idea? Well, for our final example, we're talking about none other than the master of invention himself, Thomas Edison. I mean, think about it. Edison. This is the guy who gave us the light bulb, the phonograph, inventions that literally reshaped our entire world. But he also had another vision for the future of the American home. A much, much heavier one. So on the one hand, you've got this world-changing genius. And on the other, you have his dream of filling every single home with furniture, and even pianos made entirely out of concrete. The whiplash is it's staggering. And honestly, it's a little baffling. And, in theory, you can kind of see his logic. Concrete was cheap, it was super durable, it was fireproof. Makes sense, right? But he may have overlooked a few key details, like the fact that literally nobody wants a 500-pound armchair, or a piano that's constantly threatening to crash through your floorboards. So, not surprisingly, the public's reaction was a very swift, very resounding, no thank you. Okay, so let's recap. We've got a suffocating helmet for focusing, a terrifying cage for your baby, and impossibly heavy concrete furniture. All of these truly bizarre creations, they all lead us to one single overarching question. And this right here is the real takeaway. It's not just about pointing and laughing at bad ideas. It's about appreciating that one specific feeling, that perfect mix of humor, total disbelief, and just genuine curiosity. It's a pure celebration of human imagination just going wild, totally free from those pesky little things like, practicality or common sense. Because here's the crucial point. For every single brilliant breakthrough that changes the world, there are probably thousands of bizarre missteps just like these. And they're not just funny stories to tell. They're actually essential reminders that innovation is never, ever a straight line. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and yeah, it's often a wonderfully absurd journey. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. I mean, really, take a look around you right now. What gadget, what piece of tech, what everyday convenience that we take for granted, what thing in our lives will future generations look back on and ask, with that same bewildered smile we've had this whole time, why on earth did that exist?